People that love different kinds of film will each have something that they love about this film, because for people that love political theater and they love political movies, it has an element of that. And for people that love The Thin Blue Line, or love crime dissection, it has an element of that for sure. But it's different because it also has, a live courtroom, verite, sort of. It's a documentary piece where we sort of see real people arguing about all the issues in this case under oath. And the way that it brings those kind of disparate elements of documentary filmmaking together into one film, it's ambitious, but we hope that it'll make something that's different that people haven't seen before.
David Graham wrote this long piece in the New Yorker that was really comprehensive. And Joe talked with me after class. We had a conversation about the death penalty and about the clemency process in Texas. And I wound up recommending to him that article. And I was fascinated because it was a real education for me in terms of what was actually going on and what had happened in that case. And so Joe, I knew that Joe was had just finished law school. And so we just started a conversation about all those issues that kind of swirl around the Willingham case. And eventually decided that we should make a film about it.
I think what attracted us to it somewhat, like just as a filmmaker, was that there are all these concepts in there that he covered, but there's so much material there, and it's so potentially visual. There's all the fire dynamics that really are hard to wrap your mind around reading, but we thought they'd be totally beautiful on screen. Intellectually, we really liked it for the different, the legal, the political, the mystery elements. All of those things are sort of wrapped up into this inseverable whole, this thorough put through the whole story. And all of these really smart people are involved in this story that seemed really interesting and really compelling. We kind of had home court advantage a little bit. This is all happening around where we live, and it would be really fun to dig into it ourselves and try to see what we could figure out about it. We got really lucky timing-wise, and it was almost like Providence. We started working on it, and we had thought of it more from the scientific perspective of really getting into the fire science and maybe looking at it legally as well and looking at the case. But we hadn't expected the political theater that kind of erupted right when we began. Shortly after we started working on the film, Governor Perry shuffled, dismantled the Forensic Science Commission. That injected a whole different sort of current, contemporaneous, unfolding before the lens element to the film, where it might have been a little bit more of a retrospective type film.
One that comes late in the film is Willingham's wife came forward at the same time that we were shooting a hearing about the case to make a public statement. And she had been reclusive for a long time and unwilling to meet with the press. And they brought her out to make a statement. So she wrote a prepared statement. And it was all stage managed by her attorney. And I think it's fascinating, the film. We're so lucky to have gotten it. We're lucky to have found out it was happening, be in the right spot to shoot that thing, because it reveals a lot.
We talk about this a lot, about why we made the film. It really gives you a chance to understand things that are very complex, and it respects the intelligence of the audience to form their own conclusion about it, and really gives the people who have very different opinions about what happened the time to articulate their opinions. For me, the really curious part of the case and about the film is your mind, it's almost like a battle between your emotions and your intellect in a way, because it's a very emotion-laden story. It's, children died in the fire. That's just a tragedy for everybody. Scientists and legal experts that look at the case, that's what they do, that's their profession, and they have a little bit of a remove from it. And I think that's healthy to really understand something.
Yeah, most of those films, the scientist comes in, immediately they give that guy the hook, like, get him out of here. he makes a statement like, okay, let's get back to the emotion of this.
I don't know, I think that was probably a little bit of a risk, because if John Lentini and Gerald Hurst hadn't been these really dynamic and engaging people, then that wouldn't have worked. And we probably would have realized that, we probably would have made a different movie. or might, maybe we wouldn't
We'd
have
have
finished.
the movie filled with people weeping. If those guys had been boring, you know, like, until we can find scientists that cry, we're in trouble.
And David Martin had, you know, been on the news, but in, you know, 30 to 90-second bites, where he never really has the chance to say much of why he believes what he believes. And so we were really curious about that. You know, he rode up on his mule and met us out on the road at the ranch, and it was like, wow, you know, what a strong character. It was perfect. When we first started making this film, I had some serious reservations about it, just because it scared the hell out of me. I mean, you look at the implications of it, it's something you don't really want to think about, and once you make yourself think about it, it's a little disturbing sometimes. But there's so much depth to the knowledge that all these experts bring to the case, and that's great. But there's also a comic element that comes in with all the political manipulation of the case that really, for someone like me who thrives on social awkwardness, and just, I love nothing more to see people really uncomfortable. You know, Larry David's my favorite comic, and so like that added a lightness to the film that really kept me going. There's enough there to keep you buoyant and keep you looking at this and saying, you know, this terrible thing might have happened. It did happen. I mean, these children died, and you know, someone might have been wrongfully executed and incarcerated. But you know, there's still hope for the world, and we are still trying to make the best of things. And there are these scientists who are trying to make the best of things, and we ought to let them do their job. And when they're not allowed to do their job, at least, you know, some people have a sense of humor about it, and at least some people come out looking kind of silly trying to stop these people.
If you read a description of the events in this film, you might read that and go like, my God, I don't ever want to watch that, because life is too short. It's like I'd rather watch something else. And we're trying to escape that a little bit. We're trying to like pull ourselves out of that, because we believe that it's an experience that's not depressing and that rewards you like a good mystery.
Well, yeah, and it's great too. I mean, it's great, obviously, to leave people to draw their own conclusions and not to make the conclusions for them. And I think that was the thing that we had a hard time with other news outlets or other coverage of the case. When you have people that are so strident in their opinions about this case and so different, it's a lot more interesting to let them put it all out and really not comment on it. And you know, the juxtaposition of things, they add a new layer to it. And that maybe is our place to an editorial, to really try to tease out what we think could have happened or the alternatives that could have happened.
Even to now, like even finishing, like being good through all this tedious stuff of trying to get everything perfect, or as perfect as we can get it for the premiere, it's been fun. And it's been a revelation. I mean, we keep like learning more stuff, and it's the best part of like making a film, where you learn a lot, and we've met terrific people. And we've met some of the smartest people in the world in their areas. And that's always its own reward. Well, you know, we want to make a film that lasts beyond all the controversy. Like that somebody would rent 20 years from now and watch it and go like, oh, that's a good film.
Something you can't look away from visually, but then has all this substance beneath it too.
I think he's trying to say it's a great motion picture.
Can we really say that? I don't know. I don't think we can say that.
No, you can't say that.
We're not.
You shouldn't have said that.
We have to send that to a third-party laboratory.
Yeah, yeah.